it's heavy, you almost got to match just so that, because otherwise you're going to break.
Yeah.
So you kind of, it starts to build into this thing like, okay, now we're going too hard, back off and let go, stop.
Yeah.
But somebody has to call that stop.
Yeah. One of you guys has to communicate.
Yeah.
They're like,
hey, man. Dude, what's up?
And how hard is that for you? Like, do you get caught up in that? Oh, you're gonna go hard. I'm gonna go hard too.
See, this is my problem where I also have to work better. I'm saying more because I will straight up avoid people who I know are gonna want to go hard, or I'll go with them last until I'm a little bit more warmed up. And there's specific, another shout out Stephanie. Like, me and her just have great nonverbal communication. Anytime me and her roll or just touch, she's probably one of the few people who we can just kind of feel how we want to ramp up.
Yeah.
So we just naturally do, like, okay, you're warmed up, we're warmed up, and we never.
You never have to say it.
We never have to say it. We're always just kind of in tune. And it's like, okay, we're ready to be more competitive now. We'll go. And she'll go. She's a professional fighter. She'll take me there. And I'm trying to, but if we go up there and if we want to come back down, we come back down. And we never have to say a word. Never have to come into a conversation.
Is that Stephanie the girl that we're just talking to today?
No, that was Caroline.
Okay.
But then there's other people who I'll work with who I just know that's your intensity. That's what your intensity is going to be. I'll either go with you on the next roll, or maybe I don't roll with you anymore. And I had to learn that, especially as a woman, because most of the time I'm the only female in the room, and I'm just rolling with dudes, and I just have to be
You want to keep up and be in it, yeah.
So
we had that problem from time to time when we have a visitor come in who wants to train with us.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from a different style or whatever, and they forget where they're at a lot of times, and you almost have to dude, are you really trying to hit me now, or do you forget that you were invited here, or that you're just a guest and then you want to go hard like that?
Yeah.
I'll knock. So it's a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Because you're visiting somebody who's, I like what you guys do. Oh, can I train with you guys? And then they try to get goofy, and you're like, okay, come on, man.
Well, I just want to see where they take it.
Yeah.
I don't get goofy. Yeah, I guess it's goofy.
I think the respect has to be there, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a must.
I have to leave.
Unfortunately. Can you just punch Naeem and knock him out? Just
I can't even do a demo because my meeting's in 9 minutes.
Okay. But we have time to do the demo.
Later on.
Yeah. Actually, I'll be back. I have a client here at 3.
Yeah.
So I have my meeting.
If not,
how long is your meeting?
Thursday.
Hopefully, sometimes they go over. That's the thing.
Okay.
But it's usually about an hour.
We're not even going to post this up yet because you were surprised anyways, folks. So what we'll do is when we can continue it on the next day, another day.
Yeah.
And then
Thursday after you work out with
we'll call that the demo tape. We'll call that. So remember what you're wearing. Take a picture.
Pink? I don't remember.
So we are going to set up
folks,
a camera
there is going to be this is going to be a really weird segment because at one point she's going to be wearing this, which is today.
And
then
we're going to do a whole wardrobe change, location change. The whole thing is going to be a whole pageantry. Yeah. We might wear feathers, who knows? And we'll be back.
So this is not goodbye. We're just gonna clear the area. And we're gonna set up for the next portion of this episode. All right, we finally got things back to it in order. Remember when we ended this, she walked away because she had a meeting to go to. So we're back here at Konversation with me, Rick, and our very special guest, who's here for the third time that you don't know about.
We won't get into it.
This is Vonique Stricklen. So, what I've been enjoying about what we've been doing since every time we've met with you is that you're able to explain a lot of things that you do on the physical end. I know the conversation was cool, but now moving here to the physical stuff, I'd really like your thoughts on the things that you do and why they have to be the way they are. So, don't hurt them. We need them for other shows and we're trying to go somewhere.
Yeah. But before that,
she had a question about the thing that I was talking about. That
which one was better?
Yeah.
Oh, that is, so what I was explaining when we had this conversation is that I don't think any martial art is superior. Even ones that are more physical versus the ones that are more meditative or passive or just kata. I I think they all apply. It's just how we use. It's like anything. Even any skill in the martial arts you use, it's like, okay, why do you, that skill is BS, you know? Why don't I just do
That'd never
this?
work.
Yeah, but like there's always, it's all about how you apply the tools that you use, and it's the same thing with the martial arts.
Yeah.
They can all help you with whatever it is you're trying to execute.
You know, and I think you're exactly right in that it's the user as opposed to the actual tool that you're using.
Exactly.
Or in anything. I mean, it's
Best art ever. No,
Yeah.
that guy's really
No,
good.
that guy's really good at it. You know, I mean, you can have a really great black belt guy versus a really good white belt guy. And the white belt might even win. You know, I mean, I've seen
Any
some-
given Sunday.
at any given Sunday, right? Just because of what happens. So I think you're exactly right that it is dependent on the individual as opposed to the actual art. Because you can't really say Muay Thai is better than karate because you just don't know. It's the individual that's really going to show who is better at it.
No.
And even like Bruce Lee, he trained a lot of things, and he said, take what applies to you and then throw away the rest.
Right.
So I can go into another art and I can take something out of that and apply it to my jujitsu, which is, I'll call it my jujitsu because it's my base, but really, I'm applying it to, like, I'm bringing in Muay Thai, I'm bringing in wrestling, I've trained judo for a little bit too, I've trained a lot of different martial arts.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu is my base, so I'm always going to see myself as a jiu-jitsu person, but I'm taking in all these different arts to make myself a more complete martial artist in general.
So, what are the kind of things that you take? What do you see that works for you because of the way you are, and your physique, and the art base that you have? What do you think works best for you in reference to that? Like, how do you?
I think what works best for me is definitely jiu-jitsu because that's my home base,
Okay.
right? So it's like, I'm always, every martial art I learn, it's always going to be through the jiu-jitsu lens because that's how I learn.
Huh.
Does that
That's
make
interesting.
sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because even for me, you know, even though I've done a lot of different stuff, the one that I'm most comfortable with now is the Filipino martial arts.
Yeah.
But I have other stuff that I've had to incorporate into what I'm doing with the FMA because it suits me better than the actual FMA stuff that I have to do.
Right.
You know, so I get that combination, but I still go back to what I used to do so readily and so perfectly and so easily that it bleeds into what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But
New
it's
stuff.
totally different because of the mindset being
Yeah.
behind. Because for me, my mindset's always been, combative, surviving an attack. So even like watching you train and you were doing some wrestling training earlier, and I was like, how can I make that more combative? Like less sport and more, okay, how do I damage on the way there to get that one thing you're trying to do?
Right, and
Exactly.
it goes back to what you're going to use it for in the context that you're delivering to. And
Yeah.
if we're just talking about sports, we're not allowed to break any rules. You know? I mean, it's
Disqualified.
Yeah, disqualified. But if I'm using it combatively,
Yeah.
then I can do so much damage with what you've shown. And because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is great if you just want to break everything. But you're not allowed
Or
to.
put people to sleep.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, when you get to that point, then it's like, okay, if
Yeah.
I can use, that arm bar, you snap that arm,
It's going.
yeah,
And even in competition, it goes.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
that's the tap is your exit, is
Right.
your gentleman's agreement that okay now you won, I stopped. But there's plenty of people in competition who
Right.
haven't tapped, who went to sleep or broke their
Right.
arms or legs or whatever.
yeah, and
And
it's, you
that's-
see that quite often.
And it's not a disqualification of the person. It's
No,
just like,
it's-
well,
Yeah, I didn't tap.
you tapped,
Yeah.
But do you train, like, do you teeter between, like, oh, my arm feels like it's going to snap, okay, now it's okay to go, like, to get more of a resistance to it?
This is a great question. You have to choose your training partners wisely. So in jiu-jitsu, there is a move, a heel hook, and now in the jiu-jitsu world, leg locks are really popular. And in the beginning, people stayed away from leg locks. A lot of it was due to the fact people didn't think it was a jiu-jitsu move or was a cheap submission,
Yeah.
whatever. And then it also had to do with injuries because you can, if somebody takes your leg and then they pop it, they injure your leg,
You can
you
be out for
can be
everything.
out. Yeah.
You got it.
If you pop your elbow, like I'm not walking on my arms and hands all day, so
Well,
I
know I had my elbow popped
yeah.
a few months ago.
It sucks, but it's like okay, I have my other
Yeah,
arm.
you're
And,
gonna live.
yeah. injured,
restart.
like I've had, like right now, I'm still recovering from an injured knee and an injured ankle, and it really like limits my mobility.
Now I know what I can do at that.
Yeah.
Full for the fire.
And we were having this conversation about chokes, right?
Yeah.
You want to kind of practice to the edge because you want to be able to, one, improve your ability for resolve in case you are in that situation, so you don't panic and just tap. Helps you think, even if in competition, you're able to find those little gaps where you can still escape and you can still work.
Wow.
Now, the problem is if you have somebody who has an ego, or you're training with somebody who's brand new, like chokes are a little bit more forgiving. Joint locks are not, especially not leg locks. So it really shies away from, if you're worried that every time somebody goes for a submission, they're popping your arm, they're breaking your knee, then you're probably going to be worried to train the defense to that because you're always scared to get injured. So like I really credit my team at PCC and the way our coach groomed us into the leg lock system, because we can get in and we can get in deep, but then we're not worried about somebody ripping that heel hook on it, and it only takes millimeters to blow somebody's knee out, but we can be in deep and still practice the defense without hurting each other.
So that's funny that you mentioned, because back in the day when they were filming the Blade movies, Wesley Snipes has always been known to be such an asshole when you're training, especially when you're doing stunts. He goes full bore, and I think Triple H was in one of the films. He tried to do that Triple H, and Triple H just put him in his place and said, "Cut that shit out," because he said you're going to hurt me. Because especially Triple H being a wrestler, and it's entertainment, so he knows when you're not supposed to be doing certain things.
But
Wesley,
wrestlers are tough as hell.
well, but Wesley.
So if somebody who's tough, who's telling you to slow down, you
calm
need to
down,
slow
you're gonna hurt
down.
somebody.
Yeah.
But he had to be put in his place,
Yeah.
and that's why he didn't respect him. He said, this guy's a jerk. He hurts us all to stump people. And I was watching this, and I had to put him in his place. I was like, wow, it's a crazy interview. Go look for that. Yeah.
And you can improve, you can really help improve yourself and improve your team by training intelligently. And I'm not trying to be like training the P word, I'm saying P word as in, these things are strong, so I'm not saying that, but just because, that's a word we use a lot to say the weakness of somebody. You're not trying to be weak,
I'd
you're
like
just
to
being
change that too,
intelligent.
because that's a terrible connotation.
Yeah. So and you help your team get better too, because now you guys are training the danger zone. You're training to that edge point where you for sure now you really have the submission. Now you have exactly.
Yeah, that's just it. You really have to pick that person up. Make sure you're playing with the right person.
I don't think that's something a lot of people really consider. Maybe because they're the ones that are usually going gung ho and we just go hard.
But that happens even in what we do. We have a couple of guys who will just go and thinking, if you can't take it, then you shouldn't be here. It's not that I couldn't take it. You should be more respectful to the people who are training with you.
Tough guy mentality is going to hold you back.
Oh yeah.
It's going to hold your growth back, and I think that's the other aspect of martial arts, right? Is letting go of the ego.
They start calling it e-training instead.
Well, no, you're exactly right, because we've had and seen those students all the time, and you're right. After a while, nobody wants to play with them because it's like, okay, you're a detriment to what I'm trying to do in my life.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't help them.
Yeah.
I've seen some great people come through who have egos, who can't let their egos go, who are always beating people up in the gym. When they go out in competition, what happens? They lose. And then they have a whole hissy fit about it, or they go out in a street fight and then they get their butt kicked. But that's because you didn't allow yourself to put yourself in those dangerous positions where you really need to work. And like you said, it takes trust. So if you need trust, you need to give trust. You need to be trustworthy.
If your training partner gives it to you, then it's always going to work. Yeah. But that's, if you were never on the receiving end of it, you won't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. Well, let's get him on the mat and slap him around, dude. Because it's always the best part for me to watch.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm not getting tossed on the mat. Folks, I'm giving it to them. Have fun. Exit stage right.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start?
So we're gonna start back in the mountain position, and the reason why I want to start here is because it's one of the most vulnerable positions that you can be in. And it's good to understand how you can use your body and your hips to keep yourself protected. Now, one thing that you can mount on top, full mount, one thing you will know is the movements that I'm going to be doing here is not like, I'm not going to be fully protected. I'm going to be more protected by doing something than if I did nothing. So the first thing was just like shelling up, having a guard, right? And being active here. So boom, now I'm able to defend my head from taking a lot of damage, but I'm also not in a position to get out of this, right? So I have to create movement with my body. So as he's striking me, I'm going to start to time these strikes, and boom. So now he can get his base back. So even when I strike, Naeem, when I bump you, you can base with your hand, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you can still, look, boom, I'm still going to grab something. I'm not going to get this first punch, but I'm still going to get something, right? So I'm going to continue to bug and continue to get back up, right? And continue to keep motions and keep my hips bumping. Now, when I have an opportunity, I can get out. If you base back up, right? Most people don't fall from here. I can get myself back into a guard position, right? If my knee continues to bite me, now I have a head. There, my pants are falling down.
Feel like I got violated.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
So this is like, we did this before. It's not always going to be that easy, especially with somebody who knows how to keep their base.
Right.
The point is to utilize your body's movement to create movement. And jiu-jitsu really shines, I don't want to say superior, I want to say it really shines and outshines a lot of martial arts in its ability to give you the skill to move off your back and can create motion while you're on your back and pinned.
Which is difficult because being this close, even in stand-up, I mean, you don't have a lot of room to move. So you really got to utilize all your mechanics and reference.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough.
Yeah, so so that was from the top, right? From the, or I was on the bottom, and I was able to get back to the top.
Right.
Now, jiu-jitsu also has similarities in wrestling in its ability to pin people, right?
Really?
Yes, exactly.
Huh.
Except for, and we get it from wrestling.
Okay.
Like a lot of new jiu-jitsu comes from sambo, it comes from wrestling, it comes from judo. Right? Jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is actually like an evolved version of judo.
Yeah, a Japanese man went down to Brazil because they didn't want to listen to him in Japan. So he went to Brazil and he met the two brothers and
and now that we have Brazilian jiu-jitsu from the Gracie family. So you can lie down. The Gracie family, a lot of, I forgot what the brothers' names, but they would go and they would train with wrestlers too.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and so they picked up sambo, and that's how we got our leg locks, and a lot of our Americana arm locks, we got that from wrestling too. So jiu-jitsu is very similar to wrestling. So our ability to stay here and then pin somebody. So if Naeem does like similar things like I was doing, trying to buck, and he's really just trying to get out as much as he can, I'm going to be able to use my legs to kick his base out. So I'm not sure if you can see my feet, but he's trying to bridge, and I'm kicking his base out to keep him down. I can even come off and dismount and continue to keep him down.
yeah, because now the pressure's all on my hips. So.
Yep, and you can like try to get up and get to your side as much as you can. I can push him down, right? I can pin him here, and I can start to work to different submissions from this position. So now he doesn't want to get submitted, which is fine.
I was fighting that one. And she made it look way too easy.
Right?
Oh, we need to work more on the ground, man.
Yeah, so we have jiu-jitsu gives you skill not only to create movement off of your back, and also has a very great technical ability to keep you pinned as well.
Yeah, I noticed that you almost used your hips to shift all of your weight on one side of mine. So then if I try to lift on this side, in the moment I try to move to the other side, you would just kind of roll back there.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, my hands are being pulled in different directions. So now I forget about my hips and I'm trying to get this, and you just get a superior position. And those legs, the wraps, those are hurts. Like,
I guess I conditioned my shins from Muay Thai.
you've only been doing it 6 months.
So my shins are as baby as they used to.
No, they're tender. I mean, that's just like bone on bone, rubbing out. So apart from